Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Justine Luzzi, intuitive reader here, and I am ready to read the romance for the collective consciousness for the week of January 26, 2020. I used both my Kyle Gray deck, my Angels and Ancestors, and then also the Doreen Virtue romance deck. I am also doing the same format that I did last week, where I have the 3-card spread for the different connections. So the first connection would be the karmic connections. The middle one would be the twin flame connection. The bottom one would be our soulmate connections. And then the ones on the side will be for anybody that's single and doesn't really have any of those at this current moment. All right, so let's begin. This is for the collective consciousness romance, just to repeat myself. Okay, so let's begin. Let's just jump right into it, right? Okay, so this is the karmic relationship, okay, guys? All right, so we have the White Witch. So we have Be the Light. So what usually comes up with this is that we need to move more into being kinder to each other. I know it's a karmic connection, which means that things are sometimes tumultuous and there's sometimes very chaotic, and that's why they're karmic, right? Is they're not actually supposed to go very smooth, right? They're supposed to teach us a lot, and they are supposed to fulfill out some karmic debt, right? So White Witch, so be the light. This basically is saying, like, this week, take the high road. Be the person that takes the high road, and it's more important to be kind than it is right, and it is more important to be peaceful than it is to be right. Now, this doesn't mean that you should be suppressing how you feel, or again, if this is really rocky and there is some manipulation present or some narcissism present or anything like that, it doesn't mean to sit there and be like a doormat. It doesn't mean that. But again, there are ways that you can, it's almost like pick your battles, sort of. But this week, just try kindness. You're going to need it. So far, it doesn't feel great. But it seems like this week it's going to be important to be more peaceful and more kind than usual. So let's see what the rest says. Okay, so this one makes sense. This is the flirt card. So basically what's happening here is that it's definitely being at lighter energy for the week. It's going to be more fun. So we allow more fun in. That means flirting. That means being playful, being more sexual this week with each other, which, by the way, it's usually a highly sexual relationship with the karmic connection. So it makes sense. So this week it seems like, status, just like a typical karmic relationship, making its way this week. So, again, it doesn't feel like, how do I say this? It doesn't feel like you're like not honoring yourself or not honoring your feelings. It just feels like you're putting your stuff aside, so you can have more play. And it's almost like you need it. Like it's almost like for you in a weird way, where it's like, okay, this is what you need this week. And that could be, I don't know if anybody checked out the Consciousness Collective general reading for this week, but it feels like pretty stressful for work this week. A lot of doing, and being in the masculine. So flirting and being playful for the divine feminine is actually more natural for them, not being in the masculine. So this is interesting for females, to be that way. Okay. And that's what I meant to, by the way. So maybe I wasn't clear. The divine feminine is coming through. For both of these. So that means that the divine feminine, which is usually the female in the relationship, it's just more feminine energy. If you're in a homosexual relationship, whoever has the more feminine energy, right? Yeah, so that's what it feels like. It's like the feminine, the divine feminine is moving more into being more kind and that kind of thing. And then also flirting and being playful, because again, that's where our natural gifts lie, right? Okay, so Star Ancestor, follow the voice of your soul. I love this card. I love this card. Okay, so do you know why I love this card? I'll tell you. I love this card because it's really one of those cards that really points to your intuition. It came up a lot in the collective consciousness reading, that we need to start listening to what our soul is calling us to do. Follow the voice of your soul. Right, and it's clearly on the card. So it's really about, and it feels like, guys, these are, somewhat in chronological order. The middle of the week, it feels more flirty, and then towards the end, it's feeling like it's very, very possible that, and again, a very feminine card, right? Being intuitive is very feminine. More feminine energy. So this is really kind of saying that towards the end of the week, it's kind of going to be like, how do I say this? Realizing that, yeah, this is a karmic connection. This is it. And really understanding that your soul doesn't want this. Because, guys, when it comes to karmic connections, I've known people to be in karmic connections for years upon years upon years upon years, marry each other, that kind of thing. But I guarantee you, deep down, they always knew it wasn't right, or it wasn't aligned with their soul. So once we wake up and we have more consciousness about what conscious love is and what authentic love is versus what's ego love, which is a lot of our karmic connections, we will start to prevent the longevity of some of these relationships. So longevity is a great word, because it's kind of coming up in it's almost like a warning a little bit that's happening towards the end of the week, where it's like, okay, I know that this relationship isn't right for me, even though we just had a ton of fun all week, but I literally have to step on eggshells, and I literally have to be kind when I don't it's hard for me to be kind. It doesn't feel good. It just doesn't, it's not in flow, and it doesn't feel good. That's the only other way I can kind of say it. So you'll be kind of realizing that towards the end. Whether you take action on it is very unclear. Again, this is more of a feelings card. This is our intuition, so it's really kind of coming up in the form of feelings, like a realization, a perspective shift. So I don't see any exact action. And again, I've seen karmic relationships and karmic connections really last for a long time. So, and it's neither good nor bad, right? Most of the time, we're not ready to leave the karmic connection unless we've learned the actual lesson, right? That's the whole point of being together. All right, so let's move on to the twin flames, which is similar, sort of, from karmic relationships and connections, except it tends to be healthier. It can get to a point where it's a little, hard, or I should say a lot hard. And sometimes they're not always in union, and they don't always end up together because you have to do a ton of work, right? Everything, guys, I should have prefaced this by saying all relationships are a mirror. It doesn't matter what kind of connection it is, and it doesn't have to be a romantic either. So unless we do our shadow work, and unless we really do massive healing, the twin flames can't be together. Okay, so here we go. So this is usually... it usually happens in soulmates too, so I don't want to just say it's very specific to twin flame relationships, but we have the love yourself first card. So, and this is a very common issue for everyone basically, and it feels like both the divine and feminine and the divine, both divine feminine and divine masculine are both having this issue. It feels like pretty much everybody deals with this issue, right? It's really, and by the way, guys, it's not that easy to spot. It's not that easy to spot. I thought I loved myself for so many years, but I so did not. Be weary of fake confidence and ego confidence, right? Look at a narcissist, and I'm talking about narcissistic personality disorder types. They don't have, it may look like they have confidence, but it's not real. It's ego confidence. But yeah, it seems like a lot of people on both ends are dealing with that this week. So focus on that. That's the only thing I can kind of say, is focus on that, because it is affecting the connection from both sides. I can't give specific examples of how you guys can do that, but again, intuition is your best friend. So lean into it, guys. I always talk about intuitive healing, right? What that actually just means is just moving into the flow of what feels good next. If something particularly doesn't feel good, but somebody told you to do it, don't do it. Okay? Same thing with healing modalities. I talk about this all the time. If Reiki doesn't feel good, if yoga doesn't feel good, I'm not into yoga. People get surprised by that. If it doesn't feel good, totally fine. Don't do it. But do something. Do something to heal it. Okay, let's see here. All right, so this actually gives me a little bit of a clue of how we can do this. Slightly. So basically we have Protection Guardian, drop your shields, right? What a beautiful card. What's coming through is that for the relationship to work, we need to be vulnerable. And I only say that because it's super hard. I know I just said it like it was nothing, but it's so hard for people to be vulnerable, especially if they have a really strong connection with the person, and especially if it's a twin flame relationship, because it's almost kind of magnetic. So you want to be with the person, but you're like scared to lose them, so you're scared to be yourself, kind of. But here's the other thing too of why I'm linking the two cards, is because if we truly love ourselves, then we're able to be more authentic, and we're able to really accept who we are as a person, and we wouldn't be afraid to show other people. So that's really, vulnerability could enhance and heal and help heal how we feel about ourselves, and self-love in general, right? And that could really help the connection. But right now it just feels like nobody's being vulnerable. It's almost like you have no idea who each other is. And again, on both ends, it's feeling that way. So figure out a way to do it, or just start with baby steps. It's all about baby steps, guys. It's as long as we're going forward and we're not going backwards, that's what matters. So work on that this week. I see that happening in the middle of the week, and mostly because you're just kind of tired of like being with somebody and not really knowing who they are. You can feel it. You're starting to feel it. Both parties are starting to feel it. So, okay, what we got going here? Okay, so children. So your love life is being affected by children. Okay, so I understand that not everybody has kids. You know, I said this in the collective consciousness reading for the week, for this week, because the parenting card came out. But if there is children involved in this twin flame relationship, please leave the kids out. That's the message that I'm getting. Leave the kids out of it. Please do not bring the children into it. Please do not involve them in the relationship in any way, especially in a toxic way. That makes me a little sad because, you know, again, I'm not a parent. Parenting is the hardest job in the entire world, but our children are innocent, and they don't ask for anything that, you know, what the parents are going through. What the parents are going through, and they don't have to be the parent, right? You know, they can have one parent, and then obviously the parent is dating somebody, right? I don't mean exactly it has to be like the relationship, like the biological mother and the biological father, right? Just to be clear. But they don't ask for that stuff, and keep them innocent as long as they possibly can. We all know as adults, what happened to us in our childhood still affects us and is still super hard to heal. So we can prevent that as parents, if we're just conscious enough of what we're doing right in front of them, and just do not involve them in any way in this connection. That is just the message I'm getting for this week. So please, please, please try to adhere. Okay, so let's move on to soulmates, which seems to be a little bit more smoother. It seems to be like best friend energy, can be platonic, but this we're particularly talking about romantic. So let's see. Okay, this is amazing. You guys have both, if you're in a soulmate connection, it feels like you guys have both have done a lot of work around healing yourselves together. So basically, medicine guardian. And I say this a lot, guys. Obviously, we're always healing, right? There's always something to heal from. Unfortunately, our whole lives is like pretty much healing from our... You ever hear... Wait, I have to get this right. It's... They say we spend our whole adult lives healing from our childhood, which is so true if you think about it. So it's like and then you like add past lives on top of that, and then add like all the trauma that we go through as adults. And if you're a woman, for example, or a person of color, like think of all the trauma or a minority of any kind. you go through even more trauma as an adult. So we're always healing. There's always something to heal. I also believe that you don't have to be alone to heal. And what I mean by that is that you don't have to be in complete isolation like a lot of us did when we went through our spiritual awakenings, right? Who remembers that? I definitely do. Not a fun time. Not a fun time, even though it felt pretty euphoric. So it was like interesting polarities going on there of feelings and emotions that were happening. But anyway, this is more about healing together. So it seems really good as far as you guys have been healing and bouncing off of each other and really supporting each other. This is a good example, Twin Flames, of how to be vulnerable with each other and seeing what's blossoming from that and what can come of that. Because this is really awesome that you guys have really found it creates, and I think this was similar to last week, so kudos, because apparently it's still going on, but basically creating a lot of intimacy together and continuing to do that, which is amazing. And I think this was similar for last week too, which, guys, isn't uncommon, right? Because it's only a week apart, so the energy doesn't change, it doesn't have to change so drastically, right? So what's happening here is true love. This is the romance of a lifetime. I feel like a lot of you guys are very sure of the relationships that you're in as far as the soulmate connection goes. Like you're very, there's not really like a lot of doubts going on. You're like, wow, this is real. I feel like for a lot of you guys, it feels like the first time you've ever felt something like this, where it's like, wow, this is really what love is supposed to be like. This is authentic love. This is conscious love. That kind of thing, which is great. Again, like very, very good. And I definitely feel like longevity, for sure, is happening here in a good way. No issues. Don't see anything happening this week, like arguments, just very smooth, peaceful realizations that, this is something special. And guys, when that stuff happens, it's important that we take time out for gratitude. I'm not necessarily feeling that we're not. I just want to throw it out there, right? Because it's important when we find really authentic love that we don't take it for granted. It's very, very tough to find. So the fact that you guys are together and in union is amazing. And again, I'm not saying that you're not, but just keep that in mind. Let's see. Okay. This is a new paradigm that's happening, guys. We have the snake. And usually when the snake comes up, we're shedding old skin, right? So we're shedding an old paradigm. We're shedding, that's just piggybacking off of what I said, is that we're figuring out that, wow, this is like really what love is supposed to feel like. So we're shedding old beliefs about, ego type love relationships or karmic relationships, and things like that, and things that just didn't work out. You deserve love. We all deserve love, guys. We are love, right? We are the essence of it. But yeah, we're shedding old skin and we're realizing that. So again, gratitude for the connection. Okay, single people, let's go. Okay, so this is actually pointing to a different direction. So this is the direction guardian here. I love this art. Isn't it so great? So what's coming through is that we need to change direction in how we date, or what we're looking for, or where we go socially, or something along those lines, like pertaining to the search, basically. So we need to try a different avenue. Like whatever you've been doing is not working, whether that's dating apps, for example, or how you've been approaching dating apps, or going to your local bar and hoping that you'd meet somebody, something like that. There needs to be a change in direction. Let me pull the second one, because maybe that'll give more clarity as far as what direction we should be heading in. Time apart, favorite partners on the horizon. Okay, actually this makes sense. So we have the separation card. So what I'm actually getting is that we need to separate from dating for a while. So basically it's saying change direction, but let's take some time to think about that next direction, right? Of what would actually work for us. So actually what I mean, and what is a good example of that, is that maybe dating apps aren't working for you because you you really connect with people more in person. So that's maybe the change of direction that you need to go. But the guidance that I'm getting is wait on it. Don't exactly take action right away. Don't try to, no desperate energy, okay? Not that I'm saying that that you guys do have it. It's more about like take a time out. Have patience and know that the right person for you is definitely coming, right? It's, again, you all deserve love. It's definitely coming, okay? But we need to be separate from this for a while. We need to think. We need to marinate. Let me pull the next one so I can see. Right. Okay. So this makes sense. Mirror guardian, right? Take time to reflect. So this is what it's saying. It's saying wait. Like I'm getting a lot of wait. Before you change directions, think about what you actually need. And this could be more about maybe we need to wait because we need to really figure out and get really connected to our higher selves and really figure out what kind of person we are and what we actually need in a partner and what would be the best way for us to meet them. And that example I gave was really good, right? I see that a lot, right? I actually see dating apps going, completely gone in 10 years, right? If you think about it, 10 years ago, it was taboo to use dating apps. Now all we do is use dating apps, but honestly, do I know people that have met on dating apps that are in serious relationships? I know people that are married, have kids, that kind of stuff, totally. But it's not, it's like the exception. It doesn't exactly work all the time. And it doesn't exactly work for everybody. That one way doesn't work for everybody. We're all different. So that's really kind of what the message is that I'm getting, is that really connect to the higher self and figure out what you actually need. Not necessarily what you need out of a partner, but what you need for your dating life. What to enhance it, what to get you more excited, where you think you can find the right person, that kind of thing. So definitely take that time this week to do that. Okay, we are done. All right, awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much. Anytime anybody checks out my videos, I'm super grateful. Please subscribe if you like this content, and any comments about this reading, please put it below. And I will be back next week with new videos for the week and new readings for the week. And I'll see you guys then. Thanks. Bye.